One-foot-flipper.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? It's Paige here, the 1-foot flipper. I'm doing good, and I hope you are too. I'm going really well lately, transitioning into my new business model, which I call the steady state model, of having 2,000 items over $4 in my store at all times. And I have pulled literally hundreds of things out of my store to build BS boxes. Paige, what's a BS box? A BS box is literally what I just said. It's a box full of BS, you know. I often title them as a estate sale junk drawer lot or similar. What you do is you get a big box and you start filling it up with your mistakes. Items that aren't worth the cost of shipping. They're too long-tailed to ever sell, or don't match with your storage needs. You know, whatever. Or, you know, sat in the store for 3 years for $4, didn't sell. Put it in that box. Now, I like to theme these boxes if possible. If you have enough room, you can take a shelf and line up about 4 or 5 boxes so you can have various themes and build them up at a time. You know, toys, gaming, trinkets, ephemera, electronics, whatever it is that you tend to have a lot of, you can theme those boxes and get more for them and sell them quicker. Then, once that box is full, I dump it out on the photo station. Then I, arrange the items a little bit, make them look presentable, take pictures, pack it up, seal it, and list it. And I always put in the listings that I'm not taking something out of the box, or if you only want one item, it's the same price as the whole lot. Otherwise, I'm not opening that box. A few times people have just bought just one item, in which case I took the one item out, shipped them that, and whited out that item in the photos and relisted the box and sold that again. You can price these things however you want to. I tend to price them in the $3 to $4 per pound range. That means in the end, after fees and offers and whatever else, I should still at least break even on these mistakes, assuming that they came from the Goodwill outlet in the first place, which is minus $2.09 per pound. Or if you just want them out, you can just get them out too. Make them cheaper. Make that 10-pound box cost $10. I don't care what you do with it. One of the main reasons I don't throw the stuff away is because it's easier, given my situation, to ship something out than it is for me to actually throw it away. Because my wife has to take the trash out, or my daughter does. They don't like taking the trash out, but they never really mind taking the packages out because the packages make money for the family. The trash doesn't make any money for the family. And speaking of making money, I am no longer making listings under $10. Well, to tell you the truth, it's $9.87. I'm using charm pricing. J-Ride suggested the 87-cent level in one of his videos, and I didn't see any reason not to do that, so that's what I'm doing these days. And I'm making very few exceptions to that rule, and the exceptions generally fall in the category of easy-to-ship items that I have quantity of. So if I've got 10 of the same thing and it's only $7 and it ships in a poly bag, yeah, I'll list that. List it anyway. Then there's also the pet categories of mine that I don't really do for the money. Like vintage computer stuff. I don't actually personally collect vintage computer gear. I do have a couple of vintage computers stashed away, waiting for my retirement years or maybe that larger house someday, but I don't have the space to collect it or to display it. Same reason why my arcade game collection is gone. Don't have the space for it, not with this eBay business. And certainly, well, just storing an arcade game kind of, they're almost fridge size, so, takes a lot of space. However, I will pick up vintage software in the box, accessories, those plastic storage boxes for floppy disks. I actually got 2 new old stock ones of those in the last week, one for 3 1/2 and one for 5 1/4. Kind of excited to get those, even though they're not going to be all that much money. The 5 1/4 ones sell for more because they haven't been produced in a much longer time. And I'll get those things at the bins, and I'll put them on eBay regardless of how low value they are, because I want to keep them out of the landfill, and I want to support that vintage computer hobby. Now, I only extend this to complete computers if they are ones that were shipping before the release of Windows 95. Once Windows 95 came out, especially about 2 years later, everybody was buying computers, And those later vintage computers are very common, and I can't try to personally save every 1 gigahertz Packard Bell that ends up in the bins. There's just too many of them. And specifically, not selling items under $10 has become incredibly freeing. I used to try to scrape every single dime out of everything. I don't do that anymore. I can find stuff faster than I can sell it, even though I'm now looking at a $10 minimum price. I can still find it faster than I can sell it. If I can't list it for $10 or immediately make a logical lot that includes it, that will sell for $10, into the trash or the BS box it goes. Like shopping at the bins the other day, there were a couple of vintage Cabbage Patch, not like 83, but like 89 or 90 era ones, and they would have been worth about $7 at each, but there were 2 of them. So I grabbed them, because I know I can list that for $10 or more. If there had only been one, I would have left it behind, because I'm not saving that Cabbage Patch to hope I find a friend someday. If I can't immediately do something with it, then I'm not doing anything with it. Part of this transition means I'm eventually going to delist all of my trading cards and bulk them out to someone else. I'm not sure when I'm going to do that, but it's going to happen eventually. I don't really want to be a card seller anymore. The listings are up. I appreciate the money that comes in from it, but cards are a messy business. It just creates a lot of detritus and all the little sleeves and extra cards sitting around, and I would love to get away from that. And equally, I have huge stocks of a half dozen different varieties of personalized Christmas ornaments from the company Gans. All of mine are from much older years than the current ones, but that's okay because people, they still buy them. They still get started on those older years, and they have new children and new grandchildren, nieces and nephews that are born, and they want to get those ornaments. Stephen King's wife, Tabitha, every time there's a new child in their family, she orders an ornament from me. So those things do sell continually. They make me a lot of money every year, but my storage space is limited, and I'm going to cut down to only a few types of them and sell off the rest of the bulk to somebody else with more storage space than what I have. Now, if you're interested in that, please get a hold of me on Instagram or Facebook, as you still have more than enough time to get listings of those up for this Christmas and make some of your money back immediately. Because normally all the sales for the year on these things happen between the second week in November and the end of January. Because a lot of people order Christmas ornaments when they're taking their Christmas decorations down because they realize, oh, we don't have an ornament with Billy's name on it, and thus they order that ornament with Billy's name on it. Now, note, you're not going to make your money back in 1 year on purchasing these things from me. These are a multi-year investment. You will be selling these things for a decade. However, you will make your money back and eventually 10x it. And they're very easy to ship. I'm continuing to track my family's net worth, as I've gone from basically having nothing to now having a paid-off house, and somehow, via being in a wheelchair and reselling, I am now actually in the top half of net worth in America. That's by percentile, that's not by average. The rich people pull the average up so high that it's fairly unattainable. And right now, a huge chunk of my eBay income goes directly to retirement accounts and to a brokerage account that we're saving up for that next house for. Because, we own this one free and clear. And I plan on buying the next one with no mortgage as well. And in the last 4 weeks, our net worth has increased $5,847. Now on to the title. Today, I had a sale to a movie studio. This isn't the first time I ever sold something to a prop department, but this is the first time I knew exactly what production it was going to be used on. These are Dragon magazines. They used to put these out in support of the Dungeons & Dragons and other role-playing games. And this particular buyer purchased my most vintage lot of earliest issues. Those are late 90s issues. They purchased early 80s issues. And the Universal Studios address has some super easy to decode information that told me exactly what show that they were going to be used for, which is the upcoming Big Bang Theory spinoff, Stuart Fails to Save the Universe. I assume they're just going to sit on a rack somewhere in his comic shop in the background, but who knows? Maybe they'll actually feature at some point. Maybe he'll pick one up and hit somebody with it. I don't know. But I know it's going to force me to watch the show, which I may or may not have watched otherwise. A lot of times we end up watching whatever my wife wants to watch when we get started on a TV show, which she would have probably picked that anyway. But anyway, my YouTube channel is climbed back to its all-time record in monthly views. However, this is hugely driven by shorts. My regular long-form video performance has never recovered from the hit it took when I got demonetized for a while earlier this year. YouTube stopped pushing me the second, at least my long-form, the second I got demonetized, and they have never come back to pushing my long-form. Since then, even though I got remonetized and everything else, they're not pushing me the way they used to. Maybe I can change that, maybe I can't. Hey, sorry I didn't have a huge overarching topic for this video. I prefer to have focus topics now and not just do the, oh, this is what happened in the last few days videos that so many of my YouTube coworkers make 3 times a week. I think those videos are kind of a throwaway. You know, they're only getting views when they're new, and then they're vanishing never to be seen again. And I'm most proud of my topical videos, as many of those continue to get views even years later. I've got some that still get 10 to 20 views a day. I've got a short that gets 40 or 50 views a day. I'm not going to say what it is, though. But it's an old short, and 40, 50 views every day. Hey, thanks for making it all the way to the end. If you have any topics that you would like me to cover, then post them in the comments. Thanks, and I hope to see you again real soon.
Forgive me, I don't know his actual name, but his YouTube name is onefootflipper.